This is a limited series powered by the Redefine Podcast Network. What is going on? This is Ryan Leary from Redefine. Have you ever wondered what really goes down behind the cubicles? This is Workplace Misconduct, the limited series based on Fama's 9 to 5 Nightmares podcast where workplace misconduct gets unpacked. Raw stories, real consequences, and frankly, lessons we all need to hear. This series is brought to you by Fama, helping companies screen for misconduct before it's a headline. Check them out at fama.io.
This is William Tincup and Ryan Leary. We're podcasting from Fama's booth at HR Tech. We are going to get into some HR nightmares, HR stories, maybe some things we can avoid in the future while we do introductions. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jane?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jane Veeder. I am the strategist for Oracle Recruiting, and this has been a very interesting conference for all of the things talent acquisition and, seeing where the technology is taking us right now.
Love it. Okay.
And hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Zoder. I'm Group Vice President of Product Strategy for some of our key products around HCM and even on the periphery. So It's really exciting because there are a lot of opportunities across the enterprise, which we're so excited about.
The moment you feel like you figured it out is the moment that...
more.
Right.
You have it.
Right.
There's more.
And recently promoted?
Promoted, yes.
Do tell.
From vice president to group vice president. So really excited.
It's a big deal.
About the potential influence, especially as we introduce new technologies.
100 years ago, we met, you were helping on the payroll, core HR side of things.
Yep.
Love it.
And now really expanding into some of the industry spaces. Lots of great opportunities, especially in the regulated industries where we're seeing a lot of rapid adoption of technology.
They have to.
Yes.
They have to. Yeah, the world's changing so fast, they've got to. All right, so let's do some stories, nightmares, if you will. So while you are thinking, my first corporate hire, was arrested for capital murder.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So the murder happened way before he was hired. However, they arrested him at our office. Capital murder.
What did that do for your employee experience?
Well, we true this. So we sat around and drank and just talked about it. Like what just happened, because they took him out on a Silence of the Lambs roller. They put him in a straitjacket, chained him down, because it was the most gruesome murder in Fort Worth's history. He beat a grandmother to death with a tire iron just to see her last breath.
I think everybody's reaction is the same.
Oh my gosh.
They can feel the blood squirting.
This was my first hire.
You're like, I made the decision to hire this
I
person.
made the
He's very
decision.
proud of it.
Who do you blame?
Yeah.
I don't understand. He was the best salesperson I've ever been around.
Of course, naturally.
Right. So it never, 2 and 2, never came up. Him getting wheeled out just never added up.
The question I have, did you bail him out to come back to the sales force?
No, I have bailed out a business partner before, but not in that instance. And the police were so nice. Like, I get a call from my office manager up front. They're like, hey, can you come up to the front? Yeah, cool. Come up and hey, the police are here. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing? They're like, so, Mr. Tincup? I'm like, okay, we're going formal. All right, cool. Yeah, what's up? And they're like, is Michael Purdy here? I'm like, yeah, he's right in the back, man. What? And they just pushed me to the side, and they just went in, and there's like 15 cops. They're in, they're on them, guns are drawn, the whole bit. I'm like, we didn't know what it was about, and they didn't tell us. We had to read about it like everyone else. So my horror story is murder.
What is yours?
Yeah, what do you got?
Who's going first?
You should lead us off.
You set the bar way too high, okay? Like, not all HR stories,
Come on
horror
now.
stories have to end in death. But they can definitely end in some, let's just call it dishonor, right?
There you go. Dishonor's good. Dishonor's good.
So in the recruiting space, you get this, right? You get all kinds of sundry weirdos happening.
Right.
My personal opinion is you're much better capturing the sundry weirdos that are part of your process so you understand where you may have problems. I have definitely talked to a lot of people that said, we want to make sure that our hiring managers only put approved comments into our interview feedback forms. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, are you really worried about people saying, things, right? And they're like, absolutely.
He was hot.
No.
What?
It was
Hire him.
We don't.
She would be a great hire if it wasn't for the fact that she will probably get pregnant in the next couple of months. Yeah. Stuff like that, right?
That
That is
probably
just
wouldn't.
so-
Not good.
And it's
Not
like
good.
they're
Not good.
like, I don't want this in the system, and I'm like,
You
well,
should
you
probably
don't.
not want that in your thoughts.
You should probably know people are thinking that, though, so you can go in and
good
try
point.
to coach that person and feel. And also, one of the things I see here that's really interesting is that interview, like AI kind of
Yep.
aspect of it. And I there's a little bit of that Big Brother, like what language can we use? Are we like policing our interactions too much? But man, people need that kind of feedback in the loop. Like if it's just a tool for myself, like to just
Who's
coach
training?
me.
Who's training folks? Ryan says this all the time because he's from Philadelphia, and it's common sense. Like that's common sense. Like it's not common sense outside of
Everybody says
Philadelphia.
common sense is not common, right?
Common sense
Yeah.
is not common.
We
But
advise a company that does
Interview analytics.
Interview analytics.
yeah,
But if you're saying something wrong in the communications
Right.
with Sync to Hire, it'll pop up and say, "Hey, this
Yeah.
is a flag. You can't say this," and it won't let you send it until you change it to something that can be sent.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very-
So
it's a
I'm
good
really
catch.
interested in that technology. I do think it's a delicate balance of preventing things you don't want to be in the system, but also being able to identify problematic behavior so it doesn't lead to murder, right?
it's a trainable moment. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a jump, but yeah, we'll get there.
But it's a trainable. To your point, if you know data, now you can do something with the data. You can turn that into something positive, even if it's negative by itself, right? And Nancy,
So I have to admit, when you first asked me that question about HR nightmares,
Right.
my first thought was, I don't have any because, I'm in the ideal state of HR right now
Right.
and product strategy. But then it did make me think because obviously I've been in the space of HR technology and enterprise technology for
7 years.
give or take. And I do remember the early years, and I remember the challenges that I had as a very young consultant of technology, especially in regions around the world where I would be the only woman, and that you would get the comments, you would get the being removed from a meeting because it wasn't an appropriate space for the administrative assistant who wasn't really the administrative assistant.
Right. I was never.
And yet you still
administrative
find yourself booking the rooms and bringing the coffee
and
somehow.
which I somehow I still will not do that, even out of the kindness of my heart.
I had an employee one time, high level, and she brought coffee to the office one day. And it was just a nice thing to
Yes,
do.
of
She went by Starbucks and got a bunch of coffee. And it was like her third week on the job, and I went out to lunch with her. And I said, first of all, that was extremely nice. Okay, really cool. However, people might associate you with the person that brings coffee. So don't do that.
Right.
I'll get somebody to bring coffee tomorrow so that we can just kind of forget about it. But I want you to be nice because I like empathy. I like nice people around me. But you don't want that perception of other people being labeled that way.
You don't want to be the hostess.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be the hostess
You don't
when
need
you're
to.
the
No.
technology expert in the room.
No.
Right. So yeah.
We've had folks tell us about leaders pulling out ideas from people in the room, that it's a responsibility of the leader. If somebody's over here talking really loudly, okay, got that. This person over here, usually it's marginalized people that aren't talking as much, or they're not being heard.
Right.
Either way, but the leader's responsibility of pulling that content out.
And I think that's where the opportunities reside, right? Is that perspective. And I think one of the key challenges that we're often criticized for is, especially being here in the U.S., is that we are very U.S.-centric.
100%.
And it's very challenging to kind of avoid that. But precisely for that reason, having that perspective, not just from regions, but other backgrounds, is really what has enabled our creativity around some of even the technology adoption that we've done.
So the CEO of Multiplier, which is, they do employee record, global payroll, whatever, he was talking early in his career, he was working in Japan, and they had a client in Vietnam. And he had a female colleague that was just brilliant, Oxford, the whole story. And Japanese culture at that time, super male-centric, etc. So he's like, hey, we should bring so-and-so to the meeting in Vietnam. And they're like, nah. And he's just like, and he fought it. He's like, she's really, like, lights out. Like, this would be great for her. It would also be great for the client. And they're like, nah. They didn't let him come on the next trip.
They cut him from the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to say, though, this was something I was super impressed with the Women in Tech Summit here, though. There were so many men in those rooms, right? We need that. We need everybody to pay attention to this. And that is what that tells me. That kind of solidarity is still
100%.
Appreciated. Yeah.
The first one or two, I think I went to both first and second, and a lot of it was women. And I felt, like, first of all, I was like one of the only men, Jerry Crispin, maybe two or three other people. And I'm looking around, I'm like, this is like preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Like, all these women already know this bit. Like, the people on stage are just talking to the people that are like, yep, happened.
No,
that bit.
I got to tell you something that really got me
It
this
needs
year.
to be all men.
Is that we had this whole Women in Tech Summit, and not once was the words imposter syndrome mentioned. And I'm so happy we're finally
that's
moving
nice.
past this.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not women just need to ask for what they need.
Yeah.
There's just so much more to it than that, and I got really, really tired of
Oh,
it.
that's cool. Yeah.
But I do have to admit, I still think there's still a lot to overcome, because I actually did get a comment that was made, a question that was asked.
Okay.
Which was, would it be appropriate for me to be in that session? And I'm like, you don't need to. You shouldn't.
Why are you asking for permission?
Why are you
man
asking?
asked you?
Yes.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you? Don't ask me for. You should be there.
Yeah.
You are welcome to be there.
I almost feel like it needs to be designed for the man, right?
I think that's actually a really cool. If doing one session for women, maybe even doing another one just for men. Like, here's the kit. Here's what you need. Let's just come in with.
Wouldn't that be controversial, right? Like a Women in Tech session just for men. But really, though, right?
Yeah. It's
a great
needed,
idea.
but it would be.
Yeah.
Because you come in with all your biases, you come in with all that stuff, and it's like, listen, we accept you as you are. Let's just go through this. Let's just say, if you've done this, okay. But that's yesterday. Tomorrow, now knowing what you know, if you do it going forward, that's on you.
What was especially beautiful is that the main people asking questions about pay equity were the men in the audience. I love it. I love to see it.
Men have grown.
No, they haven't. And
Some have.
I just read a report. I think it was the Bureau of Labor Statistics. 22 to 23, male salaries grew 3%. Females grew 1.5%.
It's still.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's still.
I'm like reading this, going, no, that can't be right. And I'm like,
It is.
It is right.
We still have
so
much to do.
Yeah, we have so much farther to go. And we see it, with what's happening in Europe next year with the new pay transparency laws that are going to be that are going to be rolled out. It's still not enough.
No.
It really isn't.
It's an unattainable goal, but it means that you should try harder. Not because you can't get there, but because the bit is you understand it is an unattainable goal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it stymies you and you don't start or you don't really try. That just motivates you to try harder.
It's a practice.
Yeah, and there are impacts in so many ways, though, because it's going to impact business in not positive ways all the time either, right? Because, you look at some of the models, especially in the Scandinavian countries, where there is a little bit more of the equal pay, equal pay transparency, and the fact is it's the work environment is different. The work-life balance is very different. And to suggest that just a single law is going to make the difference, I don't think it's realistic.
But this goes back to something that is so near and dear to our mutual friend Chris Avrilla's heart, right? Is understanding the work that needs to be done.
That's exactly
right.
it.
Yeah, it all comes back
it.
to like, how do you quantify this work?
Right.
And this has implications with pay equity. This has implications with gig and like long-term contract. All of that kind of stuff. This is a space that we are keenly interested.
Do you think
now.
we can quantify skills
That's
in that way, where we could say, okay, this level, like the government, we used to make fun of the government because they had a grading scale. You were a level, and within that level, you had 12 different things. My mom worked for the IRS, so
resemble that remark.
Yeah. So we used to make fun of the government. I'm like, well, it's a skill. Like, do you have these particular skills? Can we grade out on these skills? And whether or not you're from a disadvantaged group or not, it's the skill that we're paying for. It's the output. Do you think we can get there like that?
Think about, though, the challenges in the government especially, their pay scale is based on certifications. They're tangible
Years and certifications.
licenses and certifications, and then
that's like nurses too. Yeah.
seniority, right? So time in job. Do we really want to get to a place where time in job is what's going to be
No.
No. And so quantifying skills is ultimately the objective, but it is not going to be easy. And it's not going to be accurate for a while,
No.
right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
No, but
we've
we
been
gotta
telling
start
people
somewhere.
embrace the chaos,
Yes,
right?
that's
Just
exactly it.
start, because
you gotta
having
start.
something there is better than nothing. And by having chaos, it means you have an opportunity to get a handle on it.
100%.
Yeah.
Y'all have been lovely. Thank you so much for carving out time for us.
You guys have been great. Thank you.
Appreciate
You guys are
y'all.
fun. Thank you.
All right.
Anytime.